You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Center, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share facts.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is We'll do it live! Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000! My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there. How they all roll? Don't face me, bro. It's a trap. I'm a firing memory. Time to Hey, Charlie, wake up! Oh, God, oh, man.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nerd to Know Basis here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. And today I am joined by Kian and Katie. How are we doing, everybody?
Hi.
We survived Halloween.
Exhausted.
Big weekend all around.
Yeah.
Did we all have a nice Halloween?
We did, kind of.
Oh,
sure.
It was busy, but it was nice.
I'm sure there was a bonfire and fireworks that we could see from our front garden. It was great crack.
Like
Nice.
it might it might be different, especially for Yuki and having a child. Did anybody else just feel like I just got the feeling Halloween was just kind of like not a thing this year?
Well, speaking as a teacher, it's because it's on a Monday. We were supposed to have Halloween last week. So everyone's coming to Halloween like a week late. And
the Monday didn't help. In my defense, I spent a week and a half in a country where Halloween just was not a factor because in Tenerife, all year round is just the middle of June. But yeah, kind of a weird one. So it was very kind of I think it was a very just chill, kind of like downplayed Halloween.
Yeah, because even Halloween is probably my busiest week of the year, and half of my gigs cancelled or just didn't book or fell through. So it wasn't. Now Halloween day for me was flat out. I was working a double, and then I had people over straight after, so I was playing hostess. But the week itself wasn't as busy as it normally would be.
But again, that's because it was on a Monday. I'm doing 1 or 2 Halloween workshops this week but there isn't the demand because Halloween's over. If it had been on the Friday of a midterm week.
Yeah, no, we've all seen the video. Mariah Carey has declared that Halloween is over and 'tis the season.
She just explodes a pumpkin and just arrives.
No, have you not seen she actually put up a video on the 1st of November.
She did, where she's dressed as a witch and then it flips and she's all Christmassy.
Yeah, I've already been Mariah carried, so I guess it's time.
Are we doing Whamageddon this year?
Yeah, but Whamageddon doesn't start till the 1st of December.
That's very generous of you. For
No,
anyone who
that's
doesn't know, it's
the official rules.
Trying to avoid listening to Last Christmas by Wham for as long as possible and outlasting your friends.
Yeah, Whamageddon runs from December 1st to December 24th.
Oh, and you're allowed to listen to it on Christmas?
Yeah. And you're allowed to listen to it in November.
Oh, so you get to warm up to it.
No, the rest of the year is like a free Wham zone. That's you can do whatever you want. You can Wham all you want then.
Yeah, exactly. Stick out some Deadpool, get Careless Whisper going. It's all good.
Oh yes, my favorite season, the free Wham zone. Which spans from the first month of the year to the 11th month of the year.
Now, Keane, please tell us, elaborate to listeners, what's the first month of the year and the 11th month of the year?
It's the free Wham zone.
What a zone it is. Oh, God.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get too giddy, we were actually across the three of us at a lot of activities around the centre of Dublin. So Why don't you take us through the most spooky one first there, Katie?
Spooky.
You were at the Rocky Horror Picture thing.
I don't know if I would consider Rocky Horror spooky. It's definitely, it's like campy and weird and confusing, but I wouldn't say it's particularly spooky.
Well, they play it at Halloween.
They do. That's true. Yeah. But Rocky Horror is like, it's one of those wonderful things where you could just watch it anytime and let it envelop you and just sit back and while it happens to you. And it's great.
And without ever doing it before,
like that.
And without ever doing it before, your bones just know the dance to the time warp, just off by heart. Yeah,
you end up just, you know, the time warp, and you know the words to all the songs, even though, you know, you hadn't learned them. And it's such a fun atmosphere. I was a little disappointed though that we didn't do the pledge.
What is the pledge?
So the pledge is basically
keep on at 5.
Yes, on at 5. So basically, if you've never been to a Rocky Horror live show before, you're what's known as a virgin, and that's as detailed as I'm going to get into that. But they make you do a pledge, which I'm not going to explain on the show. You're going to have to Google it.
You're just going to have to go to the Sugar Club next year.
Hey kids, ask your parents.
Yeah, exactly. But
or don't. I don't want that on my conscience.
But basically all they did was they just asked kind of who had never been to the show before, and they made us all stand up, and then they were like, you know, you're all newbies. And then we just sat down again. And I was like, I kind of wanted to do the pledge, you know, but it's fine. You know, just that dream died before it began. But the rest of the show was really, really fun. And the performers were great. We had like crowd interactions. They had props for us that we could use while the movie was playing. It was a lot of fun.
All right. That's fantastic. Would you go again?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going again. Yeah. If they keep doing it, I'll keep going. Definitely.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, like I was super excited for it this year. I bought my ticket the day they went on sale, which was like back in August.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so no, I was super duper excited for it. No, I will definitely go again. And I've already ordered my costume, which is not going to be a Rocky Horror costume.
Okay.
This year I went dressed as Magenta, which was good fun. I had like the big crazy red wig and the maid's outfit, and we had a good time. We had a really good time.
It's funny. I remember like lots of like kind of, it was like someone from the Catholic Herald complaining about cosplayers getting the train at Houston up to Comic-Con. I could only imagine
the Rocky. There was a lot. There was a lot of
the Lewis is packed near.
God forbid a Catholic Herald reporter sees a Dr. Frankenfurter.
Yeah, there was a lot of what I will only describe as very beautiful, beautifully dressed men and women. I'm not going into detail on the radio. It was wonderful. It was
wonders of audio. You can use your imagination.
It was a very LGBT plus friendly space.
Hey listeners, just what if you just imagined a person, and what if they were just really hot?
If they were just beautiful.
And don't just do it now, just in general.
Just like, peace of mind.
Yeah. It was great.
That's wonderful. I'm going to recommend a more family-friendly one, just as a palate cleanser. We were at the Wild Lights last week. We were gifted some lovely premiere tickets. And if you've never been, go. It's wonderful. For anyone who doesn't know what it is the zoo at night, covered in wonderful light-up papier-mâché creatures, and some of them are moving. And this year, the theme is in the jungle or something to that effect, into the wild. So It's got like the immersion is the best that it's ever been, because you're walking around these trees and there's just all these butterflies over your head that are moving, and you see foxes, and there's like moving snakes around the place. There's a giant like 20-foot like bumblebee hive, whatever you call those. Like, and yeah, I took my 3-year-old and she had an amazing time chasing around everything, getting photos with the rabbits and all of that. And, it is a late start because it has to be. Like, I think we got in around 7. I suspect they'll probably open earlier now that it's open. But yeah.
And it's getting darker earlier now as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, it's one of my favorite things to do in the year, and this one was one of my favorites of those favorite things. So I would recommend it incredibly highly.
Yeah, like I've been to the Wild Lights twice, and both times I just had so much fun.
Yeah, it's like there's this lovely. It's almost like a precursor to Christmas, where it's got that kind of, it's cold and there's like these lovely bright lights, but it's not Christmassy yet.
And even when it's raining, because like both times that I went, it was kind of drizzly. Like the last few years, both times that I went, it was like drizzly and stuff. It was still really nice, and I definitely want to go again this year.
Oh, completely. But for all you know, Mariah Carey may have sprung out of that giant honeycomb, and maybe
I'm okay with it.
Now.
I'm fine with it. For some reason, I think after lockdown and everything, because I used to be one of those people, like, because I work Christmas and it's so busy, that I used to be one of those people who was just like, not anti-Christmas, but just kind of indifferent to it. And just since last year, I'm kind of like, oh, Christmas, yay, all the fun stuff.
You're talking to two former bookshop workers, we know.
You say that, Cian. I think we're the only two people who managed to do 8 years of retail and still come out of it pro-Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like
true,
somehow it just could not break us.
That's just it. I saw Dara, who couldn't be here tonight, complaining about Mariah Carey on Facebook or something. And it's like, oh, you haven't heard the unlicensed Christmas songs. The ones that are like, you know, when you can't afford YouTube for your shop.
Yeah, I have heard all of those working. I don't work retail, but I work in like shopping centers and stuff.
Retail adjacent is still close
retail
enough.
Adjacent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've heard all sorts.
Simply music that is not meant to be focused on, but when you spend 8 hours there, you're going to listen.
Yeah.
I actually did track it down once. It's actually very hard to track down unlicensed Christmas music from shops. I did manage to find one off an album called Not Your Grandpa's Christmas Album.
Oh no.
And
to be fair, again, I think that's because most people who write these don't want to be found.
Yes. It was, I won't dwell on this because it isn't relevant, but it was one of my favorite things at working in the shop was hearing these songs that weren't pop songs and actually trying to track them down. And now and again, you'd find that it was someone who got like number 15 in their small town in Arkansas or something, and only had like a Facebook page, but probably not knowing their song was being played in Dunleary for free or something like that.
Yeah, no, see what it's left me with is because they will circulate these same sorts of songs like around different shops. I'll be standing in a Londis just like buying a pack of cookies and one will play and I will stand and I will be thrown back 5 years. Truly a Vietnam flashback.
Like Michelle Yeoh being thrown through the multiverse.
Yes, stunned silence.
Oh, I had that. I once came off like an 8 or 9 hour shift and then ran to the airport and was stunned to hear the same songs in a Spire. And
oh, you never left.
And the alarm from Kill Bill just goes off in your head.
Precisely.
Sorry, I know we've got a lot of news to go to. Can I talk about one more event that's come and gone just for...
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Myself and my wife were at this amazing show in the concert hall, which was Richard E. Grant. It was called reading from his biography, but really it was him just doing stand-up and having a laugh for 2 hours.
How brilliant.
And it was great crack. It's a lovely book anyway. It's called A Pocket Full of Happiness, and it's semi-biography, semi the last year of his wife's life, because she passed away last year kind of during COVID and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no.
So he flips back and forth between the story of his upbringing and the story of his last year with her, because, you know, the benefit of the world being locked down is he wasn't going to do work. He was staying at home with her all the time, you know, so it was very sweet. And this is a gig that he's taking around the world. Like, I know, like, there was a video of him like running in the park that went viral after the show was done. But it felt incredibly fresh. He was making jokes about like Liz Truss, who had just been kicked out that night. Like, he was talking to the audience. He was like making Irish specific things, and like he met all of us afterwards and signed the books and all that. And just, I suppose, on the off chance that his performance is coming to a town near you and it's not sold out, do check it out because it was a fantastic night. It was, even if you're not like a With No fan or anything, I would highly recommend it. It was a great evening out.
That's lovely. Yeah. No, I always kind of got the impression he was just a really like stand-up bloke.
Oh, completely. Because like a decent amount of the show is him essentially talking about how he was a fan of Barbara Streisand and how he like sent her letters when he was like 13, inviting her over to his house in Swaziland. And how like as he gradually got more famous, he got to like kind of edge his way closer to meeting her, and he didn't manage it until the Oscars.
Oh wow.
Like, you know, at the like, you know, which 2 years ago or something like that. So like you do get the sort of vibe of him being outside of being famous, which is quite nice. Like he'll make jokes about being in Loki and stuff, but like, you know, it's very much, you get like his enthusiasm is very like, it catches, you know, it's very, very sweet, you know.
Somebody who just, it seems like they forget that they're actually famous.
Yes, exactly. Like, you know, like he told the story of like how he was taking selfies in front of Barbara Streisand's house, and his daughter is there going, "You're going to get arrested. Come on, get out, you know."
Somebody will find you.
But yes, thank you for indulging me in talking about that, because it was a wonderful show. Now we will get finally to the headlines, which Kev, I believe you have prepared. So pass the mic to you.
Yeah. Well, the big one, I suppose, the biggest one is probably like, it's been the past couple of weeks, and because I haven't been on, I haven't talked about it. So it's a brand new game that we've mentioned that we're very excited about, called Bayonetta 3. Is
it actually out, or is it in development?
It is. It is released just over the past weekend there.
Okay.
But, you know, and like this teased for like 6 odd years, like really, really anticipated on those first 2 games. But I think Dara actually mentioned this maybe about a month and a half ago, that the lead actress for Bayonetta wasn't going to be reprising her role.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's odd, but you know, these things happen. But then a couple of weeks later, she posts a now fairly infamous photo on Twitter, claiming, where Platinum had just put out a statement saying, due to scheduling conflicts, Helena Taylor will not be portraying Bayonetta. Helena Taylor put out a video claiming that Platinum were only offering her $4,000 flat.
I heard that bit, yeah.
For the entire voice acting, which is outrageous. that is an outrageous amount, like an outrageously low amount of money for the lead star of a very popular franchise.
Yeah, for what it is.
And rightfully so. And she called a boycott in the game, and you know, we're urging people to go submit funds to charity. Naturally, a lot of people are rally behind her, rightfully so. The story, like the story of like voice actors being underpaid has been actually picking up a lot of speed, and again, rightfully
you've
so.
brought it up on the show before, yeah.
I can't remember his name now. The voice actor for, it was actually the recent season of Mob Psycho 100. The English dub of it, the lead actor for that as well. I can't remember. I think it's Kyle McCarthy. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he voiced the first 2 seasons of Mob, didn't reprise his role for the 3rd season because Crunchyroll, who would be taking up the dubbing, decided to not even consider a negotiation because he was a union contract worker.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And like he wasn't even calling for like, I want this amount of money. He literally was like, I want them to sit down with SAG-AFTRA and just discuss payment, because they weren't even going that far. And yeah, because of that, Crunchyroll just hired somebody else, and Mob Psycho is what it is. So he's been doing a lot of advocacy for voice actors and fair payment now. So I think like that happened before Helena Taylor as well. So that was kind of like picked up a lot of steam. A couple of days after Helena Taylor posted her video, a very well-known games journalist named Jason Schreier put out a report claiming, due to an anonymous source, claiming that the numbers she mentioned were fairly flubbed.
Right.
Something in the ball that like she was actually offered something more in the ballpark of 15,000.
She was offered, so she said that she was offered $4,000 flat for the entirety.
Yeah.
What actually happened was she was offered $4,000 per recording session for 5 recording sessions.
Oh, okay.
Which is still not a lot considering. But that also, raises the question of, well, you've entered into this conversation in bad faith by lying through omission. Not a great look.
Yeah, you fudged the numbers there a bit.
You fudged the numbers. What's also come out recently is that one of the charities that she was advocating people to go fund to was a pro-life charity. So she's also one of those people.
Okay.
And like that's just kind of also dredged up a whole lot of like where she's not exactly J.K. Rowling about the idea of like trans rights and bodily autonomy. Some of her tweets are like very dog whistly about the whole thing,
which is bizarre because I don't want to like speculate on someone's personal life, but you'd think whoever plays Bayonetta would be kind of, I wouldn't say traditional in any respect.
Oh no, like that's like it is an odd thing because like Bayonetta as a character has been fully embraced by the queer community. Which has also caused a bit of a spat considering the third game kind of does straight some things, but that's a whole other topic.
Right.
But yeah, so this woman basically has managed to come in, lie, cannibalize her own career, and completely muddy the waters about any discussion about voice actors getting paid.
That's what I was going to bring up.
But
because when someone does something like this, it kills momentum on something legitimate, It
just murks it. Like it's just people are going to bring up like, oh yeah, but this person lied. And like, that's not the conversation though. Yeah. They're still not getting paid. Voice actors still aren't getting paid properly.
I heard that she threw her replacement under the bus as well, though.
Oh yeah, from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, Jennifer Hale, it was the replacement. And that's, a lot of people, obviously she got dogpiled, unjustifiably.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's, I think so. Like she was basically angling that Jennifer Hale was a scab. When, again, odds are she was just told, oh, Helena Taylor couldn't make it. We'd actually like you to play the role.
Yeah. Could you fill in?
And she's definitely like Jennifer Hale is definitely under all sorts of NDAs about this to the point where she hasn't said anything outright because probably legally can't. She has literally liked tweets that have said, don't ask Jennifer Hale, she's under an NDA. Mm-hmm. I think like that's that is a clear-cut sign. That you can, which by the way, I could get into it a little bit more.
To bring it close to home, because Lucas Agan from LAN Party, who we had on the show before, you were there, Kev. He's had Jennifer Hale on his show, and he says she's nothing but a dote, So like, I'm glad she's kind of keeping her head out of all of the sort of nonsense,
Yeah, and on top of that, I think I do want to kind of put like kind of a nice note on this whole thing as well, because after the game launched, there's a new character they introduced called Viola in this game. Her actor is an actress named Anna Brisbane, who's been just delighted about this and is a big trans rights activist. Like the day of release, streamed herself playing the game and raised, I want to say, it was about $5,000 for trans rights charities. So like there was like the game got notoriety, and this at least kind of did signal boost that. So like there's some good news that's associated with this game as well.
This is why I play PlayStation games from 10 years ago. They're cheaper and you don't have to wade through all this kind of stuff.
Which, that aside, I've also fully completed Bayonetta 3 now.
Was it actually good after all that preamble?
That's all of this aside, all the weight of this, it is mostly a very good video game. It's a very like it was a very kind of like all in with the kitchen sink kind of game.
Right. Which I mean, considering what Bayonetta 1 is saying something.
Yeah. They really expand on like her, because it's all very fast-paced combo-based hack and slash. they really expand on that in some really cool and creative ways. As I said, they introduce a new kind of main character who is playable, where Bayonetta has like herself a wide range of different weapons and abilities that like you can kind of really roll into these massive combos. Viola is much more just like you get this one weapon and this one way, and also as opposed to dodging, it's a parry mechanic, so it's a lot more rigid. So when you're playing as her, it's still it's still fun, but it's very, you kind of have to, you're stuck with one way of doing things. And then they also make you do these 2D side scrolling segments, which are actually just bad. So, yeah, like they don't take long. They're maybe 15 minutes each, but it's like, oh god, another one of these.
Just takes you out of the moment.
Yeah, like it like they could have just made them optional and just had them off the side, but no, you have to play them. But when you are playing as Bayonetta in this game, it is the best they've done. I want to make a particular highlight because it like one of the whole kind of shticks of Bayonetta is that you summon, you make pacts with demons and summon them like into combos. There's a whole new mechanic where you just can summon the demons outright and just have giant monster battles. But also part of your pacts is that you can also turn into a demon form of Bayonetta. That is themed on the various weapons, which again, I have to emphasize, the weapons are buck wild that range from her regular 4 guns, because this woman has guns strapped to heels. You get hell yo-yos, you get a microphone. Oh god, but my favorite is the train themed chainsaw.
Nice.
Which is trainsaw, which is excellent on its own. But also, when you go to dash and you turn into your demon form, you are a half woman, half train hybrid.
Nice.
Like imagine a centaur, but the bottom half was a train. It's excellent.
Oh my goodness, it's wild considering that the My Hero Academia comic spin-off has the reverse, which is Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh god, the guy with the Thomas the Tank Engine head. Oh, I forgot about him. He was horrifying.
Coming to a nightmare near you.
Good Jesus. Like, there's parts of that where I remember that Horikoshi could have been a really good horror manga author. Some of his monster designs are wild.
But anyway, just to stick with kind of both video game and casting adjacent news, do you want to tell us the other big thing that's been dropped in the last week?
Other major headline, it was announced by all relevant parties. This is a confirmed story. That Henry Cavill will no longer be reprising his role as Geralt of Rivia in the Witcher series from season 4. So not the coming season, but the one after.
Yeah.
Right. Interestingly, the same week that DCEU gets a new person running it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, I think that's everyone saying he's definitely just getting tied up as Superman.
Yeah. Well, that's what I heard, was that he had signed on for like 5 more Superman appearances or something, in movies.
Well, I mean, not to spoil things, but I've heard that Superman has made a return of sorts recently, hasn't he?
I don't know. I never watched Black Adam.
Oh, there you go. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
I didn't go looking for this story, but it found me, so I'm assuming it's.
I don't know. Was there anything else that happened to DC recently? I genuinely don't know.
See, everyone says this is going to fix DC. But when you look at the last few things, the Batman did really well. So did Joker. So did Suicide Squad. The Harley Quinn cartoons. It's
the second Suicide Squad. The remake Suicide Squad, not the original.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Sorry. The underlying Suicide Squad.
DC's just kind of... Yeah, DC's kind of just good most of the time. It doesn't that's fine.
It isn't in your face all the time like Marvel, but when it does something and I say this as someone who, actively hated Batman versus Superman to the point I was complaining about it on the internet, which I'm not the type to do. But generally when DC has put out stuff in the last 2 years or so, it's been pretty decent, Yeah,
the Batman, I really enjoyed the Batman for the most part.
I rewatched it on Blu-ray again, and actually I like it even more now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think I'll take any of the guff they've put out since Birds of Prey, because Birds of Prey was I've watched that about 3 times. I love that movie. Yeah. It's just excellent. But
Wonder Woman 2.
I never Wonder Woman 1.
Oh, I like Wonder Woman 1.
I'm sorry, but the whole just
I have fond memories.
It started really well, you know, when she's going after the God of War, and then they could have done this thing where it was like, actually there is no God of War, it's just like society being terrible.
They kind of were angling towards that and then chickened out, didn't they?
And then had a British man fight them.
They did this
CG battle.
They did this really stupid thing where he's like, I'm the God of War after all. And then it was like the whole she kills him with the power of love.
Don't watch Wonder Woman 1984 then. I mean, I'll watch it again just for the hilarity of all of the Irish getting kicked out of Britain in a montage. But
see, I have fond memories of Wonder Woman 1, but that's because I was like gradually making my way through a negative run throughout that screening. So by the time that third act kick, I was on a buzz and I was like, I
just appreciate they put all the Zack Snyderness into like the last 15 minutes. If it had been throughout the whole film, I think I would have felt differently. Oh, you've got an extra arm, Kev. Dara can edit that out.
What did I miss? What happened?
Rebecca.
This is why we don't film with cameras on.
This is an edit out, Dara. I'm so sorry. Rebecca reached in to grab something from behind my computer.
But anyway, we've gotten off topic.
Fell over the computer. Or fell over the couch. Okay.
We had an accident behind.
Okay, we'll give Dara a bit of clean air to edit this.
Okay.
Leave it in, Dara.
Witcher. 3, 2, 1, go.
But the other kind of part of this, so DC tirades without. The other major thing, though, is that they have renounced Henry Cavill's replacement. And it's not that I'm upset Henry Cavill's gone, but they've announced that his replacement is Liam Hemsworth.
The lesser
he's from
Hemsworth
the Hunger
brother.
Games, right?
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't say he's from the Hunger Games. I think that was like 10 years ago.
The Hunger Games is awesome.
Yeah, but also, listen, I'm not judging a man from what he was 10 years ago.
Well, what is he now?
Hey, great question.
Isn't he like married to Miley Cyrus?
I think so. I think that, yes.
They had like an on again, off again thing for years, but then they got married.
I want to say that is the Hemsworth who was married to Miley
Is this
Cyrus.
the Hemsworth who plays Thor when Thor's in a theater show in the Thor movies? You know, with Matt Damon as Loki, or is that a different Hemsworth?
I didn't even know that was a Hemsworth. I thought that was just another actor.
No, it's a Hemsworth. That's the
I
joke.
think isn't there like 3 Hemsworth brothers?
There is. There's a third Hemsworth. And I think he was an actor, but I don't think he stuck around.
So for people listening, if you're having trouble keeping track of all the heroes who are played by actors named Chris, now you have to keep track of multiple Hemsworths.
And don't even get me started on the Skarsgårds.
I thought there's 2.
Oh no, there's
4.
There's like 4 or 5 Skarsgårds.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're a dynasty. But yeah, no, Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking up Geralt of Rivia. And I just kind of don't know what to do with this information.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt purely because nobody wanted Heath Ledger as Joker.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah. Listen, even Geralt, I think a lot of people, especially I don't know if you remember the first image of Henry Cavill's Geralt that came out. It was bad. I don't even think they had a proper. It was either a very bad wig or they just photoshopped white hair onto him, and it looked awful. And it turned out.
I didn't want Henry Cavill as Geralt because I don't personally like him. Like as an actor, I'm kind of indifferent, but like as a person, I'm not a fan. But I will have to give it to him. He did do a good job as Geralt. He did. He sold it. You know, I will give him that. Like personal grudges aside, he did.
A friend of mine trained Henry Cavill for maybe he was filming The Witch Over Here and something, and said he was a dote. So he was very nice, you know.
No, just like I've never met the guy. I'm sure he's lovely, but just statements that I've read that he has made in interviews and stuff like that, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, the statements about him talking about Warhammer on the Graham Norton show rubbed me the right way. So I think we might have to meet in the middle here.
I think, all I'm just going to do forever now is just make fun of you for liking Warhammer. That's
oh no, my nerd is showing.
You're in the wrong place, Ken. This isn't the nerd to know basis.
I forgot to take the pledge.
I will forever be salty about that.
You're gonna have to tell me what that is off the air.
I will, but like I will never be a Rocky Horror virgin again, and so I cannot take the pledge now. Never
just
got to
lie
do it.
next year. You'll be in costume anyway.
No, I think it was more to do with the venue of the Sugar Club, because the seats were all quite close together, that there's not like space to do the pledge. Once I explain to you what the pledge is, you'll be like,
pledge involves space. People at home, start getting your detective
you need room
now,
to do
speaking of space, Cian, I believe you also have some Star Trek updates first.
That's a proper swerve there. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do Doctor Who first, because this is the first episode since The Power of the Doctor went out, which is Jodie Whittaker's final episode. I have made it a running segment on this show that I'm going to miss, that I have been basically covering the lack of coverage in the run-up to this episode. But out of curiosity, Kev, did you hear anything about this before or after?
No, I've completely fallen off Doctor Who.
Cool.
I knew about Nkudi Gatwa becoming the next Doctor, and I know David Tennant is involved, ? That's it. That's everything.
What about you, Katie?
I haven't watched Doctor Who properly since probably Tennant's first season, but I did see
that's a long time ago.
I did see the regeneration though.
Yes, my wife was upset about this and had to ring you at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, even I was kind of upset about it. It was like there was just so much wrong with it. There was so much wrong with it.
No, I'll set the record straight, which is that.
Oh God, I'm so mad. I gotta ring Katie.
Yeah. He actually did. He texted me and he was like, "Can we call you?" Stevie's very upset about this.
No, actually, I'll tell you what it was, and I won't go into too much detail because it's not fair to make fun of her on the air. But it was that she didn't like it, and then she read Facebook comments of people really liking it.
Yeah.
And then that was
people jumping on the bandwagon.
That actually speaks to the reception of this, which is that obviously this is Jodie Whittaker's last episode as the 13th Doctor, asterisk over 13th. And so it was kind of her send-off. But there also hasn't been any Doctor Who in like a year because of COVID and just the reshaking of the whole thing and all that kind of stuff.
And there won't be for another year.
Exactly, yes. So it was a 90-minute story where, she went up against all the old favorites, the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it kind of didn't touch on anything from her story. It was just a big, wild, exciting adventure with lots of cameos from previous characters and companions. That was all really well done. It's been out long enough. I'm going to just spoil it. Like lots of the classic Doctors come back, and it's and it was a big sort of anniversary style thing, and it was a big popcorny crowd pleaser. And I'm glad that it's gone down well, because as me and my wife kind of felt, if you're a fan of Jodie Whittaker, it's been a tough 4 years for you. Or 5, or whatever it was, because everyone, including your close personal friends on this show, will not let it go that you like Jodie Whittaker's era. So for her last episode to essentially not be an episode of her run and just be kind of a big popcorny type thing,
big fan service,
like which appealed to people who did not care about this era. It's I was getting big the Rise of Skywalker vibes, just sort of walking back, make sure we please everyone type thing. It was still a fun episode. I mean, I watched it twice. It's not like awful, but it definitely it's you felt a deep sense of insecurity because they were putting in every single nostalgic crowd pleasing thing in it.
Was Palpatine back from the dead?
Threads were wrapped up. So I've mixed feelings on it. I enjoyed it, but I also kind of felt thrown under the bus by it, because it's a bit like the Last Jedi thing. If you've spent a long time being forced to speak up for something because everyone else in the world seems to hate it, and then the thing itself turns its back on you, it kind of feels a bit like you're hard done by,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it's just like, well, like why, like you're kind of like watching it like, what am I even doing here anymore?
Yeah. I mean, like the episode itself was fun, but it's just like it had wild, crazy elements in it. And I apologize for spoiling some of it, but like it was the Master, played by Sacha Dhawan, and the Daleks and the Cybermen have all teamed up. And this plot involves the Master graffitiing himself onto loads of famous paintings like the Mona Lisa and all that, so that he can trick the Doctor into going to 1916, where he's also dressed up as Rasputin, so that he can trick her via a Dalek that's pretending to be good into swapping bodies with him, by which I mean he literally becomes her. It becomes him wearing her clothes. And then he dances to the Rasputin song and like goes around wearing all the Doctor's costumes, and all the companions have to kind of rescue her and all that kind of stuff. It's a wild trip. And like you sort of in it, it's a lot like sort of The Force Awakens, where it's like it's really fun, but every time you kind of stop and think about it, you go, what? You know, like why are the Daleks trying to blow up all the volcanoes on Earth? Like,
yeah, no, you're explaining this, and I feel like I need a cork board and some string.
Yeah, I'm not following any of
this. And like, it's just bizarre, and you can sort of feel the behind the scenes problem because John Bishop leaves 5 minutes into it, and he only just was introduced last season. So,
oh god,
it feels like there's been kind of a behind the scenes struggle in this one, and it wouldn't surprise me if after all the bad press of this particular run, a lot of control was taken out of their hands. That's based on nothing, no evidence, just my feelings watching it. It was still fun. It still got all the stuff it needed to right, and the regeneration was nice.
Yeah, question, like, was this a Russell T Davies joint yet, or is he just
no? But actually, you set me up for that. It's so like it was Chibnall's last one, but like you sort of have the double whammy of like all of these like classic things are kind of invading Jodie Whittaker's last episode, and she's essentially out of it for the middle of her own last episode, and then at the end, because I mean it's out in the world, everyone knows. Like even the review I did for Geek Ireland, I avoided saying what happens after the regeneration, and they're like, no, everyone knows, put it in. And then at the end of this episode, where Jodie Whittaker has been sidelined, instead of getting Ncuti Gatwa in the regeneration, you get David Tennant. So the Doctor regenerates backwards. Now, I know why that is. It's because he has to finish doing the show, Sex Education. So David Tennant's going to do like 3 specials, and then it's going to be him. But like, there's this big sense of like Doctor Who going backwards. You know, a bit like, and then you get the double whammy in that week. They announced everything would be streamed on Disney Plus, and you're like, oh.
But I mean, even the fact that there's not going to be any Doctor Who for another year, did they really need Tennant? They could have just put it off.
They could, but next year is the 60th anniversary year, so you have to do something because you can't miss the date. They've always done something every 10 years, and. To be fair, the next thing looks good. They've got Neil Patrick Harris as the villain. Him and Russell T Davies just did It's a Sin together, so that's a tight collaboration. It's just
like it seems like one where like it's definitely just setting up like a very temporary shift, but like it is an eternally long time to just kind of have like this one bit and like I'll see you next year.
Yeah, I mean I get
it's the sort of thing where like.
There's only 2 episodes this year. I suppose 3 if you include the fact that it was on New Year's. And I suppose I get making her last episode a crowd pleaser for that reason, because you don't want... Presumably there'll be people tuning in to see Ncuti Gatwa, and you do see him in a teaser.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You don't want to lose them on an episode that isn't made to please them. So I get that. But like,
it seems like if this was in the barrel and they knew that like we're going to do Tenet and it's going to take this long, it seems like almost announcing Ncuti Gatwa was a bad idea.
They should have waited.
They should have waited until like at least within a year of him actually premiering, because like that's just kind of holding over. Like, well, like it's like it's very, hey, where's my elephant?
Yeah, but then again, that speaks to the way everything in Doctor Who's going, because like they announced Jodie Whittaker was leaving before her third season. They announced Russell T Davies was taking over again before her third season. They announced Shuji Gatwa 2 years before he arrived. There's this big sense of trying to draw people back in with everything except what's in the show itself. Do you know what I mean? There's a big kind of spectacle element
around the show.
Yeah, which fair enough. I mean, you got to get people watching it. But like Doctor Who has always been kind of this niche thing. It's not Star Wars. It's not even Star Trek. It's weird. I mean, it's sort of its own thing whenever it's doing well or not, you know?
To speculate here, like with the Disney merger, it's probably going to be hitting a lot. They probably realize they're going to be hitting a lot more eyes. And I'd say they like, again, this is probably also something that's been in the barrel for a while, because I can't imagine anything in the BBC taking a short amount of time. So like they probably knew it was like, oh no, we're going to have this massive merger where we're going to have all of this stuff going onto one of the biggest platforms in the world. Yeah. We need to get eyes on it. We need to advertise it. We need to push it. Yeah. And we need to push it by having the fans know this is good, and also remind them, hey, remember when this was good? We brought this back.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're going to get any Doctor back, David Tennant's probably the one to do it. And I trust Russell T Davies enough because they have specifically declared that David Tennant is the 14th Doctor and Shuji Gatwa is the 15th Doctor. So it's not like we're going back in time. This is some new version that's temporary, and I'm sure Russell T Davies is good enough that he will find a way to make it like weird and make it make sense.
But make it tasteful.
In all of that coming in 1 week has the big sense of like, you know, in the start of The Force Awakens, when the guy says, this is going to make things right now. It's like that big sense of like declaring to the world, we're fixing it. And to me, Doctor Who never goes backwards.
Yeah.
And I've had that concern ever since Russell T Davies was announced, even though I really like Russell T Davies, obviously. But you have to keep moving forward, even if the new forward is something you don't like, you know?
Yeah, if you told me that they were also going to somehow wrangle Matt Smith in with one of his dodgy white wigs from House of the Dragon and he was going to act a menace, I wouldn't be surprised.
He probably will be. We're more than a year out from the first. There's going to be 3 anniversary episodes. So we're a year out from that. I'd say there probably will be a presence of like Matt Smith, not Peter Capaldi, probably. He said that he won't do it. But I'd say
not Eccleston either.
What's that?
I would be surprised if they got Eccleston back.
No, Eccleston does the audios and he enjoys doing that. But that's because I think he has an input on the writing process. Yeah. I don't think he'd ever go back to the TV show thing, you know?
Yeah, because he didn't have very nice things to say about it.
To be fair, in his autobiography, he didn't say anything bad about it. It's just that he's made it abundantly clear that he wasn't happy with like how the production was run or something like that, how the crew were treated. It's his own business and he's too much of a gentleman to like throw people under the bus, like, you know. But no, he'll never come back to the TV show, I'd say. So yeah, probably Matt Smith. And like, but that was also the weird thing about this episode. They got like loads of the past Doctors back, like Paul McGann and stuff. And it's like, well, what are you going to do for your 60th now? You've done everything.
You've already roped these lads in.
You've set the bar too high. Like, where are you going to go from there?
Exactly, yeah. But anyway, I will say I did enjoy it. It was a good romp, but like we did her whole season of 8 episodes before this running up to it, and there was the sense of like, well, we don't get an ending, I guess. Okay. But no, it was fun. And I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future, you know, but it did feel like, okay, Doctor Who's ending now, even though it's getting reborn. You know, I'm sure I'll be Dara throwing things at the TV like the way he does with Star Wars now in a few years' time.
Oh, getting so angry you gotta go to bed. Which, by the way, I want to just kind of make sure I've got all of my eggs in a row here. So it's gonna be streaming on Disney Plus, but it's not going to be streaming on Disney Plus in Ireland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think I spotted that. I think it's streaming on Disney Plus outside of UK and Ireland territories.
Possibly. It's been a thing where they just have had the BBC iPlayer doesn't work outside of Britain.
Yeah.
So there's no way for people outside of it to watch it.
That's it. I think Ireland specifically is just getting completely ghosted.
I buy them on DVD anyway. I don't care.
Yeah. Because I think like it's been very kind of vague in a lot of them, but I think I saw a BBC tweet that was like, "Oh, streaming outside of the UK and Ireland," and it's like, how do we watch? What about poor old us?
Do we find what time it's on, like in a magazine?
Just because we take up residence in one post office
and like sit and watch it when everyone else is watching it? No. Oh my goodness! How much time do we have left?
We got 4 minutes, so I think we'll let you smash through. I think you had some Star Trek stories. So
I apologize for not having time for Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's fine. I would just get very upset anyway.
Can you get upset in 3.5 minutes?
I can, but then there isn't enough time for me to like come back from that.
Hey, everybody, look how fast I can make myself cry.
No, I'll just say that like there are two very good animated Star Trek shows on at the moment. One which is just wrapped up is Lower Decks, which is class. It's a hilarious comedy. It's been going out on the Prime. This is actually something weird about Star Trek. It's not all in one place. Some of it's on Prime Video, some of it's on Paramount Plus. It's a whole deal. But anyway, Lower Decks has just wrapped up its season and it's been hilarious. They've had like a brilliant guest star every week. And then starting this week, we've also had a kids show called Star Trek Prodigy, which is actually class. And it's quite a lot like Star Wars Rebels. And it speaks to the weirdness of how brands have taken over, that Nickelodeon kids are getting a sequel series to Voyager as their first Star Trek.
That's the weird one, right? I just finished watching all of Voyager, and when I found out that Janeway is going to be in this kid series, like, what's she still doing here?
Oh, Janeway and Chakotay, like, you know.
Oh, hell yeah, my guy!
That's what the series is about. In here. Yeah, it's Chakotay's like missing ship that all these like ragtag Delta Quadrant people find, and they've got a holographic Janeway. And in this new series, the real Janeway is like out looking, and they've no idea where Chakotay's ended up. So it's like, no, it's accessible for kids, obviously, but like it's just so strange that like once upon a time Voyager was considered like nerdy fare, and now it's like the launching point for Nickelodeon. It's just so. It sort of speaks to how immersed we are in nerd culture in every single aspect of entertainment, you know.
It's because as well that the nerdy kids have now grown up and they're pretty much running things at this point.
Yeah.
So nerd is now normal.
I'm wondering what will replace nerd in like 10 or 15 years time.
I don't want to think about it.
I think right now that's just being sad. Like just the entire concept. Like I think that's the alternative thing right now. It's just depression.
Also, it's not nerdy, but I just want to say that both Andor and Taskmaster are still running, and they're amazing.
Andor's not nerdy.
What?
Andor's not nerdy.
It doesn't feel nerdy when you're watching it.
I don't know, man. I've been hearing good things about Andor, but I'm so very tired of Star Wars.
Well, at least you admit say that. I got into a big argument with Dara last episode because he spent 10 minutes slagging it off without having watched it.
Oh, listen.
And he never will.
Oh, listen, you don't got to tell me. That is because about the past 3 episodes of me and Dara and any of the Marvel shows. I try my heart. Listen, guys, I am here to advocate for Miss Marvel. Please.
Yes.
Just watch the damn show.
I tried. I watched the first episode. I couldn't do it.
I liked it. It reminded me of like Kick-Ass and that kind of stuff, all the kind of way it was filmed and everything.
No, I've said it before and I'll say it again until I die. I could not listen to her say cosmic one more time. I just couldn't. It's just like, yeah, okay, we get it. It's cosmic. Say
you realize that the next thing she'll probably be in space.
Yeah.
Have fun.
No, I refuse. I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing with it. You know, the whole, the young woman, and she's like Islam and stuff like that's great. Yes, keep doing stuff like that, but it just, they Americanized her too much, you know.
Okay, because like they literally spend one whole episode in like the is it the Pakistan partition, was it the one that
one of them is Yeah, one of the entire episodes is during the like exodus from India with like Pakistan finally getting their independence.
Which Doctor Who covered as well in an award-winning episode as well. So
really?
It's a little overlap. Yeah.
No, like I got the genuine feeling. No, but like I said this I think with Kian months ago. I got the genuine feeling I actually learned a lot about Pakistan and Muslim culture by actually watching that show.
Yeah, and like the Djinn, like which is the proper word for like genie and stuff. Like those are nice touches.
No, I completely support all of that. Just her character herself was just too much American teenager.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I can totally see why that aspect would be off-putting. I've had a few friends who said that as well. But at the same time, I don't mind it being made for an audience that isn't me. All the pop songs made me feel old, and I had to bear with that.
I will never forgive her for what she did to her dad.
Why? What did you do to her dad?
Oh, the whole costume.
The whole costume. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, Papa Khan is and will always be a good dude.
Yeah.
Oh, but I get that.
He was so excited.
Like, you want to go be an adult at your own con thing, and your parents want you to do it the way they want you to do it. Like it's. I felt it was an honest response on both sides, you know.
Yeah, but he was so excited.
Okay, I am going to cut us there before we really shouldn't have started talking Marvel 2 minutes before recording wrapped.
True, yeah.
So I am going to pull a ripcord on this. We are about out of time. We'll go Katie first. Is there anything you would like to plug for the good people before we wrap?
Yes, please follow me on Twitch. I am currently playing through both Alice Madness Returns and Oddworld New and Tasty. And we are also doing weekly balloon streams where people can come on and make requests, and I make them and we chat, and it's great and it's lovely. And please follow me on Twitch because I'm like 24 followers away from making affiliate.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we want to keep that going. Please and thank you. Twitch.tv/mannequin blue. That's where you'll find me.
Excellent. I'll just throw in there. I'm still working for Geek Ireland. I'm currently reviewing each of the Star Trek movies in a retro review thing where I sort of have to dig into what works about this, what doesn't, all about that stuff. You all know Star Trek, you all know movies. I'm sure you can figure it out based on the name. But yeah, if you're looking for some funny observations and all that, sure, you know where to find me. Give them a click. That's probably.
Awesome. And I don't have anything myself to plug. I haven't been up to much, but you know what? I'm gonna plug my brother.
Yeah,
because he's doing just fine. My big brother Dave, his streams on Twitch as well. He streams under the name of Farfonz, FARFOHNZ. Join the Farfonian Dominion and watch my brother play video games. He's a very funny man, very charming.
I thought you were just going to say nice things about your brother for no other reason.
No, he has stuff to plug, but I could also do that. So go follow him on twitch.tv/farfonts. And we will see you back here next week for another episode of Nerd to Know Basis. Obviously, follow us all on social medias, nerdtoknowmedia.com. You can find our link tree, you can find our socials, find all of our other shows. It's a great network. Yeah, that sounds like everything Dara says the other show. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Watch Andor.
If all this is worth it, we can work it night by night. She says I'm not romantic. I say she's too dramatic. I tell her I'll regret it.
Alright, so you're listening to the podcast, you're like, hey, I'm not in Ireland, how do I get in touch? Well, TuneIn has you covered. That's how you can check us out live when we're on the radio. You go to TuneIn and download the app, or you can check out the live streams on nerdtoknowmedia.com or Phoenix 92.5 FM. If you want to get in contact with us, it's very easy. Nerd to Know Media everywhere. Nerd to Know Media on Twitter, Nerd to Know Media Instagram, Nerd to Know Media on Twitch, Nerd to Know Media @gmail.com if you want to reach out via email. Hope to hear from you soon. Check out the Wrestling Rewind here on Phoenix 92.5 FM every Tuesday at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And of course over on nerdtoknowmedia.com, the only wrestling podcast by wrestling fans who don't hate wrestling. We'll see you then.
Hey, Dara, what are you doing over there in Ireland? Like with the freaking leprechauns and everything. That's not cool. You should be over here with the cosplayers. At least then you could, like, I don't know, pretend like you got, I don't know, some kind of thing going on. Yeah, with you give me a Brooklyn wave. Yeah, with ya. Dara. Yeah, Dara. Why ain't you over here with Joey? Anyway, we missed you, dude. So, it's Circle Evo saying,
I love it. All I do is just believe in the heart of the cards, and then I...
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.